Hello casters, it is Firestorm Divine Champions release day, and you know what that means. We are here with a box opening, very exciting stuff. Now as per usual, I got product in today from my LGS on today's release of this very exciting set, and I had opened up some product at the store, and I've got this one saved up just for you here in today's video. I did record some of my opening at shop though, and I did get this cool little moment caught on camera.
You know, and failed that. And one of the other guys.
I thought the Stellar Slug.
No!
This is the one that I wanted to get. That's crazy.
That's the perfect one for you.
Oh, yeah.
It's 77 out of 99. So yeah, we pulled the Stellar Sluggle out of the starter deck. Serialized number 77 out of 99 is crazy. Turn some lights on, but this is one of my favorite ELESTRALs of all time. If that wasn't already seen through the fact that I have Stellars of the other ones. I've never been able to pick up the Kickstarter Stellar Sluggle. If you have one, hit me up. But I'm looking to continue to finish out these Stellar lines because I adore these cards. But today, let's actually crack into this box. It's been a blast to open. The set feels pretty good, honestly. I think there's some boogeymen already in my mind. You may have been hearing whispers about the this is a Champion of Artemis Like a Void. That's a very scary card, and it has performed really well in testing already. So I'm excited to see how the metagame shapes up, how people are able to counter this card, since things like Necrolith or even the new Champion of Artemis Werepup counter it pretty interestingly in a very cool way. The box topper comes with this little thing on top of it. You can kind of see behind. I think this might be a Majesea that we hit here, which would be really cool because I've only hit Majesea so far. That is Voltempus though, actually. Very cool. I've played a little bit against this deck. Horrifying deck. I am not looking forward to playing against it anymore though. So we're gonna move that to the side. Forget that we saw that, and let's go ahead and let's hop into our first pack of the box. Ooh, I hit my hand awkwardly. Floodgates is our first holo. Speaking of the Champion of Zeus stuff, this card is very cool. We'll go through the cards a little bit more here. It's so hard not to skip right to the back, but the Floodgates, just a sick fucking card. I think this card is very cool. 3/3. You can disenchant from your Zeus and return to destroy a face down rune, which is really, really solid. And then if you do, you can give it +2 attack until the next turn. Just really cool stuff. Something was going on with my camera. We got it fixed. Looks a little bit better here now. Floodgates is very cool. Kite Might, I'm very excited to play around with this deck. I've got it almost entirely built. Just been trying to pull those Parachnes, new card in this set that is just ridiculous. It's basically a Lith that you can normal cast as long as Arachne's layer is up, which then means that you just get to draw a card when you play it. So that's very cool. Ursecoat, I think, won't do a lot. The Durataqua is interesting. I've got a bunch of the TP3 of the Ascension form of this. I think Narpoon's really cool. Harpy's really cool. I think there's a lot to be done in this set. And the spirit arts are just ridiculous. I don't want to spend forever on every single card here because I could talk for a long time about the cards that are in the set, what I think is really interesting and what is kind of not really piquing my fancy, but I know has been interesting other people. Ooh. Let's see, what do we got for our spirit? The Leviathan, gorgeous. I've got the sleeves for that. Speaking of Arachne's lair, this card's really cool. Whenever you cast one of the mites, Warmite or Acnes, the Warmite, Frostmite, Kite Mite, Plorachne, and Parachne, you have to draw a card. Very cool. Foloi Forest, you gotta burn yourself to play stadiums is interesting. I don't know if this will ever see a whole lot of play, but I think it's an interesting concept. We got the Stellar Sluggle. This is the normal one. It lets you turbo out into the Majesea, which is very cool. Globby, I think, is a very interesting card. It's like a water reanimator strategy. Since this lets you search out those pieces for that strategy, I think that's very cool. Speaking of Javelantis, casting you can special send it in your hand from one of your water Lestrals. Very interesting, very cool. We have Tsunami High Tide, which also triggers this, so there's even more options for it. And then your water Lestrals deal piercing damage while Poseidon is enchanted. That's cool. Wayland is really cool. And hey, my boy, we've done a deck profile on the channel of this. Here is the holo from the set, Volcarius, Champion of Hephaestus. I adore that deck. I think that card is very cool. a sort of fire healer, which I think is really interesting. We got the Owloon in the bedroom, very cute. Frigicub 4/3 non-titled. You can return a blizzard from Underworld to your hand. Very interesting. You can, so you can use that on your turn, every turn. Bunnix, it's a 4/4, which is an insane stat line. I expend Frost to search your deck for up to 2 Nixamira, then send 1 to Underworld out of the other into hand. Something I really want to play around with. Elechik, Champion of Zeus. Panison, Champion of Meter, 2/4 healer every turn. Very interesting. Titanostock, Nexus, you can enchant Wind to your field. Teleria, Sirocco, Monsoon, and our non-holo rare here is Chrysor. It's a 7/3. It can ascend, special ascend from your Sorlet with Wind during your battle phase of that Sorlet destroyed an Elestral and battle this turn. This card, very cool because you can search it off of the Sorlet when it destroys an Elestral in battle. So it works with itself. Sorlet is a 4/1, I believe. Can search either a Champion of Aeolus or Aeolus. The Terratlus in the little forest, very cool looking. Soul Bell, a nice little piece that's slowly needed to be able to special cast from the deck. Plucky is really cool. 1/3. Normal cast, you can search for a Lyre of Apollo and add it to your hand. When you cast a Solar Rune, you can return 1 from your Underworld to your Spirit deck. So this refunds all the Solar Runes you play. So if you play the Lyre that it searches, you get to heal 1, which is really cool. It also then turns into, I believe, a 5/3 with the Lyre. We'll see it whenever we pull it. Spine searches Hermes. I think this is really cool. We got the Escape from Tartarus Strataya. You can discard Ambrosia or Golden Apple, discard and draw 2 cards. I think that's pretty cool as well. We're going to start skipping through some of these. There's the Lyre. There's our Holo, but we're going to get to that in a second. Lyre, your powered Elestrals, attack and defense are swapped. All of your Champion Apollos get +2/+2. That's very, very cool. I like that card a lot. Works well with this Plucky here, so it becomes a 5/3. And then all of your Champion Apollos get +2/+2. Very, very cool. This Galaxy, gorgeous. I actually need these because it comes in the Poseidon half of the Poseidon Hestia structure deck as a non-holo, and I don't think I've pulled any holos yet. Go ahead and get that. Zaptor sleeping in a rainy cave. We got Reforge, an absolutely incredible card. Hibernation, another incredible card. Harpy, Elechik, a sort of solid piece for that deck. We got the Panacin again. Griff use is very cool. You can special send it over a Champion of Zeus, but it can't be misenchanted when you do it. And then when you cast it, you can give all your opponent's Celestial -3 attack until the next turn. Just insane on a 6/2. Jesus. Titanostrike. This, when I said 4/4 on that Bunnix, this is the other card I'm thinking of. 4/4. When you cast it, you can search your deck for a Thunderstorm and add to your hand. That's ridiculous. That is a ridiculous card. Anklo Shock and Draco Doodle as our non-holo rare. This card's also crazy. Some of the main things that I'm looking at in this set are Hermes and are the bear stuff. Those are, I think, both really, really solid types of decks. Very exciting stuff that I think are really bringing a lot to the table. Speaking of Escape from Tartarus, though, with that Drattai, we have Spark at 3/1. When you normal cast a Spark, you'll get up to 2 random cards from your opponent's hand and discard 1 of them. You can Nexus 2. The Nexus 2, we just needed another Thunder Nexuser. Magneros not cutting it. But being able to look at 2 and discard 1, that's crazy. That is very, very strong, I think. Here's a story we're talking about. That's a 4/3. Whenever you destroy an Elestral battle, you can search for an Aeolus or a Champion Aeolus into your hand. I think that card's really cool. Adds a lot. Charcoon Wee here at the Elestronauts actually reveal this card, which is very cool. I don't think it's going to be doing a lot for the deck, but it's very interesting. We got Shiveror, 7/5. This card is ridiculous. Special cast a Frigicub from your Underworld. You cast Blizzard, you can target a an Elestral. Ridiculous. And we got the Leica Void here. You can special cast any number of Werepup when you cast it from your deck with Lunar Suppressed. This is a 6/5. This is the meta threat, I think. Ridiculous. Also, the first Lunar card we pulled in, Brumalinx, 4/2 on cast. Search for a Mountains of Boreas or a Blizzard. This card is insane. I think this is exactly what Frost needed, what Shiveror needed, in fact. I think that Frost actually is a very real and interesting deck using the Brumalinx, using the Shiveror, that type of stuff. Even the new Frigicub might be kind of interesting. A Pyro Sleep in the Cave, Werepup. Nemastar is very interesting. 1/4, you can next up to 2. Anything that receives a Lunar can attack direct that turn, which is really cool. Earth Scout is our bear support of the set, other than the High Bear and the Champ Majesea. And when you special cast it, you can search your deck for a Champion of Hestia out of your hand. I don't know if this card is going to see play in those decks, but I think it's really cool. We got Ignogter, very cool. Searches for a Nectar of Gods on cast. Panzer, Torchin is our searcher for Hestia. We got Waspire. And we got Carry Off. This is just Earthquake. It is basically Earthquake, searchable from deck with Hermes. It's a little bit more expensive, but like, who cares when it is searchable from deck? Another Papyro. Plucky. I have mixed up my stacks here apparently. Fires by place. Werepup, Drataya, Rumacole, Earth Scout, Globby, Javalantis, Waylands, and Hestia's Hearth. This card's really cool, actually. You get to enchant from Underworld to your field. Then if you enchant to a Hestia or Champ of Hestia, you can enchant an additional one. That works really well here with the Warmite, which when it receives one or more fire, you can target a Celestial, give it -3 attack for the next turn. When a player casts Hestia's Hearth, you return up to 2 from Underworld to your Spirit deck. So crazy, it's a healer. It also lets you trigger Warmite 2 times to give something -6. There's a whole lot there. I think it's very interesting. You might be seeing that used in like the Arachne's Lair deck potentially. Oh, this is our Holo Spirit pack because our non-holo rare got flipped to the front there, so we'll have to see which one we get. I've mixed up my piles once more. Poseidon's Fury, though, a very interesting card. Lets you disenchant a number of water from your Poseidon, and then your opponent has to disenchant the same number from their field. Very strong board wipe. It is conditional on another card, which makes it a little less strong. We got the Holo Luminape. He's so cute, hanging out on that tree right there. Look at him. I love the Holo spirits in this, or just the spirit arts generally in this. I think that they will be my new go-to spirit arts. Very glad to have so many of them as a result of the structure decks. The structure decks are crazy. They're so good for their value. They get you so much. I adore them. And we got Scavacole, Champion of Hephaestus, as our Holo. I'm gonna skip over that one. I don't think he's worth talking about. He's not very good. Just 6/6. You can special cast over at a fire if you have 2 enchanted artifacts in your rune. That's not good. We got don't want to skip past it too quick. What's up, my Nimbug? We got Ignector, Teleria, Sirocco, Monsoon, Soulstock. Something that I've noticed opening a couple boxes now is when you open one of these winds, the divine winds, you tend to open 3 of them, but specifically you do not get the solar one when you do. So you'll get that line that I just saw, but only those. Solar Charged, a very interesting enchant solar from Underworld to an Elestron field. Kind of interesting. I don't know if it's worth playing. I don't know if there's enough receivers to warrant it. It does work with your Phosphosil stuff, as kind of highlighted, pun intended, in the art. I don't know if it's worth playing in that, though. I don't know if it's worth playing generally, but it is certainly something to consider when you are building a solar deck. Zeus's Call, a very interesting card. You know, a lot of these, we have a lot of cards that are conditional on other cards, and this is just another one, but this one's really strong, so I think it's worth being conditional. It can only be cast if you have Zeus enchanted, and you just get to search your deck for a Champion of Zeus added to your hand. We all know, if you've ever played a card game before, being able to search your deck for a type of card, always very strong. So making it conditional on having that Zeus up makes a lot of sense to me. There we go, two wins together. We got a Lyre of Apollo and Pandalint's, sorry, 4/1, which is a crazy stat line. Whenever one or more Elestrals become suppressed, or a player plays an Elestral suppressed, an opponent must expend Lunar. I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that Like of Wood is the first card that plays Elestral suppressed, which is very interesting. I don't think that we've seen that before, and I wonder if we're going to get more of that in the future. Because I find it very strange that that's specified on Pandalint. But I guess it makes sense if that is a distinct thing. Not something that I thought about until I read Pandalints for the first time. We got some sort of holo back here. It is a Verdalist Champion of Demeter. This is a card that a lot of people have been very down on. Because it doesn't read great, right? It's a 2/6, can be normal cast of Demeter's Enchanted, which is ridiculous. If we see more liths that have that kind of cast condition, I think that's going to be ridiculous. When you target this Verdalith with Demeter's effect, you can special cast a 1-Spirit Earth Elestral from your hand. It can only be activated once each turn. Not very strong, because like, right, you would like to play this in defense because it's a 2/6. If you play an attack, it's a 5/6 now, it swings, and you get out another Elestral. I think that this might be undervalued, and I'm looking to try and play around with it, because like Verdalith plus Demeter plus, I don't know, a Viscerus feels like a ridiculous series of cards, but that is also a 3-card combo. Here is our wins back to back, and we have Hermes Trickery. This card is sick as hell. Can only be played if Hermes is enchanted. Destroy an Elestral on your field. If you do, special cast another Elestral from your underworld using only spirits that are enchanted, enchanting the destroyed Elestral. I've been playing a good bit with my good friend Julian today, and he's been building out a Hermes Trickery deck, or Hermes deck generally. We've been testing it out, trying to refine it. I believe this is our full art. Sorry, Julian, we're gonna have to change the topic here. No clue what it is. It might be Nixamera. Ooh, Nixamera Risen form. We saw the Bunnix. This card is very, very cool. So you can expend solar in order to target destroy a face down rune. During end phase, you must either send this to the underworld or special send it rather, into fallen form from hand, deck, or underworld. Very, very cool card. Very interesting stuff to see. I'm not really sure where that deck's gonna land, because I think it's really interesting, but I don't know if it's going to end up actually being that strong, because it really is just a magnet for removal. And that sounds really bad, but oh my god, that is a reverse Stellar Pandison. Oh my, that is so cute. Oh, I love it. Okay, I was not prepared. I didn't have sleeves on hand. I was not expecting to actually pull something. Whoa, oh my god, yes. That's so cute. All right, I have to build this deck now. All right, so we're building the Champion of Demeter deck now, I guess. I was talking about Verdolith maybe not being that bad. I guess I gotta put my money where my mouth is and actually build the damn deck. That's a sick pull. I'm very happy about that. Very, very happy about that. We got our wins, and we got a Holo Hermes, which is very cool. Looking forward to playing that deck a lot. And the full art, I think Julian actually, was it Julian? One of my friends at Locals pulled the full art Hermes, and my god, that card is gorgeous looking. Big pack of fire, and we have a water card. It's a Holo Poseidon, which is very cool to see the reprints of those. Getting more Zeuses in rotation, very good. I was running out, so being able to get a couple more through this set, and also these starter decks, very, very good stuff. Exciting to see. Definitely, I know I needed it. I know a handful of people did. And there's Majesea. This card's very cool. 8/13, when you cast this Majesea, you can target and destroy cards up to the number of bear Elestrals on your field, so it includes itself. And then your bear Elestrals get +1 attack for each fire enchanting each Hestia on the field. I don't know if the second effect is going to be particularly relevant. The list that I've been trying out, haven't really been playing Hestia. I'm going to try and come back around to it and see if I can force it. And maybe that ends up actually not being too bad. But we'll see. We got the Spirosec Champion of Hermes. This card's pretty cool. I'm going to come back around. I'm going to try the Hestia stuff. Hestia doesn't feel that strong right now. There's a lot of there are cards for Hestia in this set, but none of them feel particularly directed to making her an actual strategy. Like and this is kind of a fire problem generally. We got the Zeus Holo as well. That is sick. I wonder if we're going to also see the Hestia Holo. We've seen one of each of them so far except Hestia. But fire has this problem generally where it kind of just has a lot of different things in it that are different play styles, but it doesn't really have direction as a result of that. And I think Hestia just is kind of a consequence of that. You've got Warmite, which is very, very cool. It's probably like one of the only true solid fire Hestia cards in the set, because like the bear stuff is not really Hestia. Torchin as a searcher was really cool. Speak of the devil, I guess, or maybe not the devil. She's very pretty, very wonderful. So we did, in fact, actually hit a holo of each of the divines. But Hestia just doesn't have a lot of direction, I think, right now. The Emprix is just not great. Doesn't do a lot for the deck, I don't think. There's Bears stuff, but I don't think that she's really good as a Bears enabler. The new Viserys is very cool as well. That's sick to see. Very, very strong card. You'll be seeing that a lot as the third Viserys in people's lists, since you are only allowed to play 3, and the good one is semi-limited at the moment. But I think that currently there's just not a lot of direction with Hestia. The Spectaris is very cool. I just don't think there's a lot of direction with her to actually result in her being a strategy. Other than, I think, actually, Mill has a very good reason to, because being able to get out Salashade very quickly with her is very solid, and then being able to special cast Elestrals from your hand every turn to then trigger Salashade a lot is very, very good as well. Speaking of Emphyrix, I'd like to actually read this one to say, justify why I think this is a bad card. 3/4, you can disenchant fire from Hestia and just add a 1 Spirit Fire Elestral from your Underworld to your hand. So it's 2 cards you have to have specifically, and then it adds from Underworld to hand. If this special cast from Underworld, this would be a solid card. I do not think it's a good card in its current state. When you ascend this Emphyrix during your end phase, you can special cast it from your Underworld with fire. Being during your end phase, so bad as well. At least I believe the original Emphyrix would happen in your opponent's end phase. Like, that is fine, or it could happen in your opponent's end phase. That is fine. Having it have to happen in your end phase means that 3/4 is not long for this world, and he's not sticking around. You're not gonna be able to get that out to get to another Ascension. I just don't think that it generates enough for what the deck wants to do. We've seen a lot of this already. Another Dracodoodle is solid. That means that, you could basically build the Hermes deck with just this box. We're only missing a couple of cards. I just smacked the hell out of my hand on my mic stand. Oh, Dracodoodle got mixed up in the Frost pile. It's not a Frost Elestral. We got some sort of Heterostar here. 5/7 can Nexus up to 3 Lunar. That's a lot. Player Nexuses. An opponent must expend for each that is received in that Nexus. So very strong as like a burn card against other Nexusing decks, and also if you Nexus with it burns your opponent for a lot. But it's a lot of commitment for you to do, and I don't think that you can really rely on your opponent to be Nexusing. It's certainly not in the current state of the game. I just don't think that Nexusing is a big deal that a lot of people are putting effort into. We got the Majesea. This card's ridiculous. Let me read this. 6/14, will Poseidon is enchanted. This Majesea is in attack position. Spirits enchanting Elestrals are water instead of their original element. So if you normal cast any Elestral that isn't a water, it doesn't get its effect because it is misenchanted on cast. That is ridiculous. Then you can return up to 2 water from your Underworld to your Spirit deck if this Majesea is in defense position. That you can do both of both of those can happen on the same turn. You could play this in defense position, heal, and then the next turn heal, and then put it to attack. I actually did that to somebody today. I don't think that the deck's very strong. I don't think it's really worth playing. But having a floodgate like that will always be a threat you have to consider, because you could just lose the game to a Majesea hitting the board in attack position and you just never see an out. But also we have enough removal in this game where I don't really think that's ever going to be an issue. Full Tempest champion Zeus. We pulled the full art of this. 14/7. When a champ of Zeus is destroyed in battle, you can special cast it from your hand if your Zeus is enchanted and you control no Elestrals. That last part is really important, because if your opponent has 2 champion of Zeus, or has 2 Elestrals on board, one of which is a champion of Zeus, you hit over that bitch. If they got, if they got only 1, you might want to think twice about attacking in that board state. We got our Sirokkos and our Noctises and our Monsoons and a Chrysor. This is our last pack. We kind of tore through this box. Can we end on a holo? I haven't been keeping track of how many holos we got, so I don't know if we're due or not. We are not. It is a Soul Stocks Champion Paul. This box was really solid. I'm gonna clean up real quick. And here's our spread. Honestly, this box, it was pretty solid. The Nixamere is really cool. Hopefully we'll be able to find the other full art of the Fallen form. I really would like to try and build this deck. I think it's really solid. Luminate's good. The Full Tempest box topper is sick, but obviously the star of the show here, Pandasin, Champion Demeter. As a heal player, it was meant to be. But with that, thank you so much for watching. Look forward to a lot of Firestorm content coming up soon on the channel, whether it is gameplay or deck profiles. There's a lot that we've got cooking on. I've got a bunch of decks that I've been building, a lot of stuff that I think is very, very interesting, a lot of stuff that I think is actually quite viable going into the upcoming metagame. So hopefully we'll have a couple of deck profiles out for you in advance of that June 7th premiere. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.